Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening.
Word up, mic check. Justin Hunt, it's all happening. Thank you again for tuning in to another episode of the Company Man Show. We're doing daily live streams called the Company Man Show now. It's an evolution on the architecture. Now that we're all in agreement on the wallpaper, 1 second applause to you all. If you'd like to support this channel, the best way to do so, you get the Cash App that's right up there, or you can hit the link in the description. There's also a link to what do they call those? PayPal, if you'd like to donate there. And as always, super chats are welcome. What up, Bucktooth? What up, Andy Pandy? What up, I Got Fame? What's up, everybody? Thank you guys for rocking with me. Got a big show today. Today, I normally do Chart Report because you know what it is. Tuesday is Chart Report. 1 second applause to Chart Report. But we're not going to do Chart Report today because the majority of the Chart Report are Christmas songs. And so I don't know if it felt all that interesting necessarily. I think there's some cool things in there. There are some changes on the Billboard 200. There's a new #1 this week, so I will point that out. But today is also the day where a number of people's Spotify raps came out. Apple Music Replay came out. Billboard has also listed the top rap songs of the year, as well as Apple Music, and as well as the most streamed artists on the platform. So we're going to go through those. Make sure you like the make sure you like the video, excuse me. Make sure you hype the video. I'm having a good time doing this. Let me know if you guys like the idea of me going live for an hour or two every day. I think this episode might be a little shorter, just to give you guys some insight on how the scheduling is going. I'm still trying to find the right time. I haven't tried the morning yet. I did around 2:30 yesterday. I've done that twice now. So that's starting to feel a little bit better. Today is late because I was on set. Generally speaking, I'm on set on Tuesday mornings. So it pushes this back a little bit. So right now, this is sort of the evening show. I'm not sure if I'm going to stick to this or not. Just out of respect for everybody who's on the East Coast and everybody who's global as well. So let me know in the chat if you can, what time is best for you, what times you guys think this might work. But I will be going live every day, Monday through Wednesdays, definitely. And so tomorrow, when I go live, will be another Culture United. Shout out to Culture United. 9 second applause. So tomorrow's Culture United will be myself. It will be chilling with Moni. She's in an incredible streak right now, so she will be on. Jeremy Heck will be on. A lot of news around Jeremy Heck, so he'll be there as well. We'll have Ras Kass on, the incredible MC Ras Kass. He always has lots to talk about tomorrow. FD Signifier will be on tomorrow as well, and another guest that I have not named yet. So that will be tomorrow, and the plan is also to make that every Wednesday. So every Wednesday will be Culture United Wednesdays. Because again, I'm trying to balance all of these different ways to talk about what's happening in the culture. All these things that we could talk about when it comes to the world around us. And so I want to do Culture United every Wednesday because it also falls into the live streams. And again, the reason that I'm doing live streams in the first place, again, is to free up more time so I have more time for think pieces, right? And so Wednesday will be Culture United Wednesdays. Every Wednesday will be Culture United Wednesdays. And then I'll have those clips going Thursday and Friday, which will free up time for me to drop every Saturday again with a different think piece. And so I've got 5 think pieces already in progress. So I gave myself enough time to be able to keep that momentum. Okay, so thank you guys for bearing with me as we continue to sort of reformat and restructure how we approach things. I've always looked at this channel since the very beginning, and truthfully, before I even started this channel. But my personal mission has always been life through the lens of hip hop. You know, I feel like hip hop can contextualize the world around us and connect with people who, may not be as exposed to how all of us are generally all interconnected. And I don't think that hip hop's the only thing that can do that. I think sports does a great job of that. I think video games does an incredible job of that. There's certain things that sort of just unite us all. And so I've always looked at my approach to this space as being a mix of a lot of different things, using hip hop as the entry point. And so I've am experimenting with how that looks on a daily Company Man show. Or at least, I guess, 3 times a week, Company Man show, Monday through Wednesday. Absolutely. So thank you guys so much for bearing with me as I work through some of these growing pains, we shall say. And thank you guys for bearing with me as I work through a number of technical difficulties. One of the things that is bothering me, and I'm trying my best to figure this out, is that when I'm live streaming, the video quality when I export or when I chop up videos is lower than when I normally do. So maybe I need to get another camera. Maybe I need to figure something out. I am connected directly to the Wi-Fi router. That doesn't seem to be making as much of a difference as I thought when I plugged this in this week. But you know, that'll get worked out over time. And so I really appreciate you guys rocking with me. And so again, 9-second applause to you all. All right, starting today's show. Now, we normally do chart report. We're not going to do chart report today for the reasons that I explained. But what we are going to do is take a look at Billboard's top 10 songs, rap songs of 2025. And so this is actually really dope. I appreciate what they've done here with this list. Now, just to make sure everybody's all in agreement on the wallpaper and how Billboard does things. Billboard, when they put out a list, it's not an opinion list. It's a list of, it's basically just who charted the best, right? And so this does give a solid explanation on what happened in 2025 from a charting standpoint, right? And so here is Billboard's top 10 rap songs of 2025. All right, so let's go through the article. Kendrick Lamar and SZA prove this world is theirs, a top year-end rap songs chart. Countdown to Billboard's 2025 year-end charts, which are on the way. Ahead of the full reveal on December 9, after the Billboard 2025 #1's live stream hosted by Drewski, check out the Hot Rap Songs Top 10. We're counting down the days. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, let's see, here we go. We're counting down the days to the unveiling of Billboard's 2025 year-end charts on Tuesday, December 9th, with a special look at select rankings in the lead up to the big reveal. And today, December 2nd, we have the top 10 of the 25 Hot Rap Songs chart. On December 9, hundreds of year-end charts will be posted on Billboard's website. Hundreds of year-end charts. Okay, that's a lot. 1 second applause to hundreds. Hundreds of posted on Billboard's website following the conclusion of Billboard's 2025 #1's live stream, hosted by Drewski, which will broadcast on the Billboard News YouTube channel and Billboard TV on Samsung TV Plus, starting at 9 a.m. Pacific time. As special surprise guests stop by to celebrate the year's chart toppers. Below, we're dropping the top 10 of the 25 Hot Rap Songs chart, led by Kendrick Lamar and SZA's Luther. The track debuted at number 3 on the weekly edition of Hot Rap Songs dated December 7, 2024, rose to number 1 on the December 22nd, 2024 chart, and then never left the ranking during the rest of 2025 chart year, October 26, 2024 through October 18, 2025 dated charts. During that span, it never ranked lower than number 3, and that only happened in its debut week. 1 second applause. Now, we talked about this quite a bit throughout the year. Again, we do chart report here weekly on this channel. And for, I think it was 13 weeks, maybe 14 weeks, Luther was number 1. Number 1 song of the year for 14 weeks. 1 second applause. I was happy to see that for a number of different reasons. I know there's a lot of debate about whether Luther counts as a rap song or an R&B song. Whatever it is an amazing song. It is an amazing song. And truthfully, in a lot of ways, I feel like it was underrepresented as the song of the summer. Now, Billboard also puts out a song of the summer at the end of the summer, and that too, as well, is just based off of what charted the best. And for that song to have come out in December 2024 and was still in the top 4, it was still in the top 4 songs of Billboard Song of the Summer's list. It was over there with Golden. It was over there with that's not Espresso. What's the new Sabrina Carpenter song? The new I can't think. It's not Man's Best Friend. Whatever it is, the new Sabrina Carpenter song, and Alex Warren's Ordinary. And then Luther was right behind it. like freaking 9 months previously. 1 second applause. So that was really great to see. Just the success rolled in on that song. It's a beautiful song, beautiful video. I just love it. I love everything about it. And so there we go. So back to the article. Below, we're dropping the top 10 of the 2025 Hot Rap Songs chart, led by Kendrick Lamar and SZA's Luther. All right, so let's get to the list. 2025 year-end Hot Rap Songs chart. Number 10, Doechii, Denial is a River. Peak position number 4. Peak date February 15th, 2025. Okay, so you have no captions around it. But big shout out to Doechii. Denial is a River coming in at number 10. 1 second applause. TDE representing. I was actually really shocked when this song hit number 4, right? And again, I think that Denial is a River and this project overall, if you listen to the project when it first dropped, I'm not sure if the average person listened to this and said, yo, this is a Billboard chart success. I'm not sure if you can listen to this project when it first dropped and say, yo, this is going to secure Doechii Best New Artist at the Grammy, an award that's only been won 3 times, I believe. Only 3 women have won that award, right? It was Lauryn Hill, women in rap have won that award. Lauryn Hill, Cardi B, and then Doechii, right? And it's the testament to me of what happens when you really work a project. They had an incredible campaign at the end of last year. They released Denial is a River, sort of in a 1990s sitcom kind of spoof, which did incredibly well on social media. And not so surprisingly, it ended up being number 4, or peaking at number 4, on the Billboard charts. Now, and that date was February 15, 2025, which is, again, right after the Grammys last year. So big shout out to Doechii. 1 second applause. All right, number 9, Kendrick Lamar featuring AZ Chike. What are they doing right here? What is this? Who is As Cheeky? Now, they called me out last year because I didn't realize AZ Chike was pronounced AZ Chike. I thought he was Nigerian. So I was calling him As Chike, right? Because he performed at the Pop Out. And in my video doing a reaction to the Pop Out, I shouted him out, wasn't familiar, called him As Chike. Okay. I'm looking at Kendrick Lamar featuring As Cheeky. I'm 99.9% sure this is a misspelling unless AZ Chike has changed his name. But this has been up all day, so.
Tomato.
Come on now, Billboard. Come on now, Bill. We got to get this right. My man's in Gatorade commercials. He is poised to have an incredible 2026. We cannot be calling him As Cheeky. It's AZ Chike. But this song was an incredible song. I think it was a bit of a sleeper hit song from the project as well. Big shout out to the good homies over at Thought Crimes. They released an incredible peekaboo theory. That added to the lore behind GNX, added to the lore of the Shakespearean Shakedown that we experienced with Drake and Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar did to Drake in 2024. And the song itself was a big hit. It peaked at number 6 on February 22nd, 2025, also after the Grammys as well. So 1 second applause there. AZ Cheeky, As Cheeky. They got to figure that out. That's ugly. All right, number 8, Glorilla and Sexy Red. What you know about me? Glorilla had a monster 2024. Now she's up for a Grammy in 2025 and 2024 actually. But she's also up for a Grammy this year for her project as well. Peak position number 2, peak date November 30th, 2024. There's so many things I'm going to say about Glorilla. One, I always really appreciated how Glorilla just seemed like the all-American girl. You know, she would say stuff like, don't give a F about a credit score. I might be rich tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? That is so American. That's the most American thing that I've heard in recent years. Don't give a F about a credit score. I might be rich tomorrow. I know people who live like that. I know people whose investment strategy is lottery tickets. You know what I'm saying? 1 second applause. And also,
Tomato.
And so this is a big sign of the year that she's had as well. Big shout out to Glorilla. 1 second applause. Number 7, Tyler, the Creator featuring Glorilla, Sexy Red, and Lil Wayne. Sticky. Things are getting sticky. Love this song too. Peak position number 1. Peak date November 16th, 2024. Tyler, Creator had an incredible 12 months as well. He's also up for Album of the Year at the Grammys this year. He's also up for Best Rap Album this year as well. Well deserved. You can see the collaboration that's sort of driving the success of a lot of these songs. This song has Glorilla and Sexy Red on it. Glorilla and Sexy Red put out What You Know About Me You start seeing this with Clips and Tyler, the Creator. You start seeing this with Clips and Jid. And so collaboration is always a big part of hip hop. It's competitive, but it's also collaborative as well. I love this one because this one got Tyler, the Creator into marching band season. I never really thought I was going to be hearing Tyler, the Creator during the 5th quarter in the HBCU football games. Love this track too. 1 second applause. Number 6, Big X to Plug, Bailey Zimmerman, All the Way. Peak position number 1, peak date September 6, 2025. This actually reached number 4 overall on the Billboard charts, on the Billboard Hot 100. Number 4, which was kind of crazy, right? For Big X to Plug at that point in time. Bailey Zimmerman's a relatively new country artist. This is a project that made major waves this year in 2025. And so the project's called I Hope You're Happy. It's Big X to Plug's country album. He collaborates with a number of country artists, even though he's rapping on all the tracks. And so I was actually really excited for this project. When I heard it was coming, I was excited when it came out. And I was excited all the way up until maybe a couple of weeks ago when this clip from Big X to Plug talking about how he needed to leave rap to become the biggest artist, which is
tomato,
because it's not true. But more than anything else in that conversation, I think the real story of that conversation is Big X to Plug describing how much time he had to spend in Nashville actually working on his music. He was talking about how to make this project, it took him 18 months, while he's used to spending 6 months on a rap album. And so he's going in there, he's seeing Post Malone spend 30 minutes on getting one flow right. And it made him feel like we're wasting time. And he's going back to rap because he doesn't want to spend this much time making music, putting his albums together and putting them out. And I thought that was the bigger story, is that look at what they're doing in Nashville. While we're over here talking about hip hop not having a presence in the top 40, hip hop is not in the top 40 this week, for example, on the Billboard Hot 100. But we're talking about hip hop not having, being in the top 40. We're talking about how it seems as though rap isn't making the same impact as it used to. Well, we have a whole bunch of rappers that feel like they can make songs really fast and they just put them out. One of the big stories of 2025, again, was the return of the rollout. You know, obviously Clips set the standard, I think, this year when it comes to the rollout. But you can also look at Ray Vaughn had a crazy rollout. You have Cardi B had a crazy rollout. I'm not mad at Jid's rollout by any means. I really like what Chance the Rapper's done after the rollout, pushing the project even farther, right? And so all of these things are sort of a return to normalcy in hip hop, because one of the things that when Big X to Plug is describing what his experience was like in Nashville, that sounds like every artist from the Dr. Dre family tree. That sounds like Eminem albums. That sounds like Kendrick Lamar albums. That sounds like what a number of goats and gods in our space used to do. And somewhere along the lines, we got addicted to surprise drops and one takes and just putting out quick, fast music and wondering where the market went. Well, it's kind of tough to do that when, you know, you're making regional sounds. Nothing wrong with regional sounds. I don't want to give that wrong impression. But when you're making, you know, really quick, fast music and you're putting it out without thought or preparation, and you don't necessarily have the skill set to be able to carry that message forward, right? And I think that's what I took from that conversation that Big X to Plug had. And so we'll see what his return to rap looks like in 2026 or whenever he decides to come back. But this, without a doubt, was one of the biggest songs in the space this year. It basically carried hip hop in the top 40 outside of Nokia, Luther, outside of Kendrick Lamar. And so to see him be able to have success in the country space, to me, is a great sign. Because at the same time, with this conversation about rap not being in the top 40, sure, maybe rap as a genre wasn't in the top 40, but hip hop's presence is all over it. Not only in the R&B that is sitting in the top 40 consistently, including now, there's like 6 songs in the top 40 that are in the R&B space, but all over country. Country is over there using rap cadences and flows. Country is using rap type topics more than they used to. You know, they've taken a lot of things from hip hop and they're using that to get younger within the country space. They're using how hip hop is always innovative when it comes to social media, when it comes to streaming, you know, when it comes to how they share the music with the masses. And as a result, country is getting a lot younger. I have a feature story in Marvin Magazine that'll be coming out in a couple of weeks that really examines that. So I'll be sure to share that with you guys. Big shout out to Big X to Plug and Bailey Zimmerman. 1 second applause. Number 5, Drake, Nokia, peak position number 2, peak date April 5th, 2025. My favorite song off of Some Sexy Songs for You. My favorite song from Some Sexy Songs for You. I called this out the day it dropped. The day it dropped, I was like, I like the Nokia song. That's the one I like. The other 20 songs,
Tomato.
To me, I don't need them. But this song actually felt refreshing. It felt fun. It felt like something you would hear at a roller skating rink. This was actually a conversation starter to me. It felt like Drake when he's not trolling or when he's not picking fights. You know what I mean? It felt like a fun Drake experience all the way until the video dropped. When the video dropped, and it's in black and white, which is a travesty because this is such a colorful song. They're replaying Carnival in Toronto in black and white, one of the most colorful festivals there is on the planet, whether it's in Toronto or Caribana, in Toronto, or Carnival in the Caribbean. They somehow turned that black and white. And then you start looking at the video and you realize he's trolling the Not Like Us video. And to me, that was a wasted moment, a major wasted moment. And they shot it in IMAX. Like, why would you shoot an IMAX video in black and white?
Tomato.
That doesn't even make sense to me, right? But I think this is the best song that Drake has put out since the battle. And I think that, to me, this feels like Drake is one of the few times over the past year and a half that Drake has lived in a space that was separate from the great Shakespearean shakedown of 2024. And I think for him to return to form, it will be necessary for him to lean into other things that are happening in his life. I heard another song clip of a song that was in Iceman episode 3. Ain't sound like that was it to me. Ain't sound like that was it to me. Also, he looks like he aged quite a bit in the past 18 months. I can imagine so. I'm sure it's stressful. But this is one of my favorite Drake songs that I've heard in the past few years, to be honest. As you guys know, I think Drake has peaked since I think his peak has been back at the first half of Scorpion. Like the first half of Scorpion to me is fire. And then everything else has been like, and then Nokia, boop, and then it's, where we are now. But this was definitely one of the biggest songs of the year. Big shout out to Drake and Nokia. 1 second plus. Number 4, Squabble Up. Squabble Up, peak position number 1, peak date December 7th, 2024. I believe this was the first song on the project to debut, to go number 1. This was the song that was also teased at the beginning of, am I thinking about this wrong? How do we hear this? No, it was the other way around. How did that go? I can't remember. But this also was a big conversation starter. There it is. It was teased at the beginning of the Not Like Us video. There we go. Thank you, Justin. 1 second applause. Teased at the beginning of the Not Like Us video, and then we actually finally got the track where we heard GNX the album. I mean, this still goes up. The kids love this song. You know what I mean? And I think that this really set the stage for just the dominance that GNX has had. I mean, if you want to have a conversation culturally, what's happening in hip hop from an album standpoint, I think that there really is a discussion to have between GNX and Clips' Let God Sort Him Out. But if we're having a conversation about impact, particularly cross-cultural impact, I mean, it's one album driving in a lane by itself at whatever speed it chooses to, and that album is GNX. And Squabble Up is just another crazy, crazy songs off that project. Debuted at number 1. The funniest thing about this is when the video dropped was that so many people were complimenting this video. The Roots were complimenting it. Isaac Hayes III was complimenting it. And I was just looking at that. I'm like, I'm pretty sure y'all are catching subs for what y'all were saying about Kendrick during this battle. Let bygones be bygones. 1 second applause. This is a crazy run we're about to experience right here on this list. Squabble Up, peak position number 1, comes in at number 4. Not Like Us, peak position number 1, comes in at number 3. May 18th, 2024. Most impactful song in the past decade. Most impactful song, arguably this century in hip hop. Arguably this century, right? Not Like Us, if you think about it, has become the new anthem for California, right? It's replaced California Love. Replaced California Love. It is now the anthem for anybody who's winning. Period. It's the anthem for anybody who got haters, right? It's the anthem for any sporting event. It is an anthem at the Olympics. It's an anthem at the Democratic National Convention. And this song came out 18 months ago, something like that, feels like it, and still dominated all year this year to the point where it is number 3 on Billboard's list. 1 second applause. I don't know what more is left to say about this song, but I still really love the verse about Reconstruction era history. And I think that's really the tipping point to me when I think about the greatest diss tracks of all time. You know, I have to really think about that list, but I can't imagine Not Like Us falling anywhere lower than number 2. And right now, I think it's number 1. And for me, it hits that tipping point because it is a catchy ditty that teaches Reconstruction era history and the type of people kids should stay away from. What more is there else to say? 1 second applause. Look at this run we're on. That's peak position was number 1. Kendrick Lamar has 2 number 1s in a row. Number 2, Kendrick Lamar featured Lefty Gunplay, TV Off. Peak position, number 1. Number 1. Right, he's killing this list. Right, we are 9 songs on this list, and 5 of them are Kendrick Lamar. 5 of them are Kendrick by himself, and 6, if you include Doechii, are from the TDE family tree. Crazy. 1 second applause. TV Off, turn the TV off, turn the TV off. I think that's the last thing we saw with Kendrick Lamar's instant classic Super Bowl performance. This song is another mustard hit. You know, Glass and Malone always talked about how as soon as Kendrick Lamar does a song with DJ Mustard, it's over. It's a wrap. And so we've gotten 2 between Not Like Us and TV Off. And even like just the rhymes on this still hit me whenever I listen to it. You know, he's rapping so freely. You know, he's rapping like he's in what's that anecdote? How'd the anecdote go? No ID had this anecdote. I can't remember the R&B singer he was working with, but he was talking about how when he's working with R&B singers particularly, but when he's working with anyone, he tries to get them to make as many songs as possible within a day. Within a day, he wants these artists to make 5, 10, 15, 20 songs in a day if they can, just to keep going through that process to make as many songs as possible, right? And this always stuck with me. And his whole point in getting the artists to do that is that they could get into that flow state. You know what I mean? Like when you're a ambulance driver and you're racing to get to the scene and you know you got your sirens blaring and you've got to weave in and out traffic, but you're so focused on getting there and save someone's life that you're not thinking about the particulars, but you're still driving safely. Like that flow state, right? He wanted his artists to get to that flow state so that they can start reflexively going through the process of making songs and just coming out with brilliance without getting in your head too much, without trying to overthink things too much. You know what I mean? And so that's what Kendrick's flow always feels like to me on TV Off. Like he is just splitting rhymes and is coming from just his soul after years of achieving his dreams ultimately. And he's stunting something crazy all over Drake on this song. Number 2, number 1, TV Off. Kendrick Lamar featuring Lefty Gunplay. 1 second applause. Love this song too. All right. And number 1, as we talked about, Kendrick Lamar and SZA, Luther, peak position number 1. Now look at this. Number one. I'm not sure the last time I saw this. I'm personally not sure the last time I saw this when it comes to like this level of success from a chart standpoint. You guys have an example, let me know. But that is Billboard's top 10 rap songs of 2025. 5 of them are Kendrick, 6 of them are from the TDE family tree. This is incredible to see. 1 second applause to this. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section. Got some more for you. So here is Apple Music's top 5 songs of 2025, rap music songs. So here it is, rap music songs. What is this? Apple Music's most streamed songs worldwide by rappers in 2025. Look at this list. Number 1, Luther, Kendrick Lamar, and SZA. Number 2, Not Like Us, Kendrick Lamar. Number 3, Timeless, The Weeknd and Playboi Carti. This song was actually running the charts too. Timeless, The Weeknd and Playboi Carti, hanging out all year. Both collaborations, truthfully, between The Weeknd and Playboi Carti did really well this year. Number 4, 30 for 30, SZA and Kendrick Lamar. Number 5, TV Off, Kendrick Lamar and Lefty Gunplay. I mean, look at that. What more else is there to say? 1 second applause. Now, Drake is still reportedly the #1 streamed artist on Apple Music in 2025. And I don't think that's surprising at all. I mean, we have to be sincere and understand the gravity of Drake's back catalog. The gravity of that back catalog is crazy. This doesn't mean that his new music is out here charting as crazy as anything that maybe Kendrick is doing or anything SZA's doing this year. It is the back catalog. And when you have a back catalog as solid as his, with a number of features as he does, and truthfully, with just the number of opportunities to do well in the streaming era. I mean, Drake was putting out album after album after album after album. It makes sense to me that Drake would still be the most streamed artist in Apple Music. I don't look at that as like, some sort of industry machination. I look at this as like, well, Drake's got a lot of super fans and he's got some of the biggest songs that we've seen this century. You know what I mean? But when I think about 2025, I'm not going to be thinking about Drake's back catalog. Okay. I'm going to be over here thinking about all these freaking different looks Kendrick Lamar gave us that still hit #1 at the same time. I mean, this is just straight up domination. Straight up domination. 1 second applause. And while we're still on this topic, I wanted to share with you guys my Apple Music replay. My Apple Music replay. Now, I'm an Apple Music guy. I'm not a Spotify guy. No knock, no shade to Spotify by any means. I have an iPhone, so it's just easier for me to interact with. I'm more familiar with the interface, right? So here's my Apple Music replay. So let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at what jumped out that I was personally listening to. All right, so let's see. Jump in. All right. Top artists. My top artist. #1, Kendrick Lamar. No surprise there. 1 second applause. #2, #3, and #4, Pusha T, Clips, and Malice. Now, I think that this is just because of the metadata. Because I think on the metadata in here, it says Pusha T, Malice, and the Clips. So they have them as separate artists. But yes, I was listening to Let God Sort Them Out, something serious this year. Something serious. I mean, it's probably my favorite. It's definitely my favorite album of 2025. But I think the magnitude of what they were able to accomplish, also with the gravity of the fact that of their reunion, also with the impressive nature of Malice's return, and then the level of growth that they were able to show while still bridging both their perspectives together. Yeah, it's a Coke album about discernment. It's an album about discernment using Coke rap as the device, while also having a lot of light and religious undertones and humanity that's within it. And so grips me every time. I don't miss Chad Hugo on this project. One of my favorite things about Clips' albums is sort of the quirkiness that Chad Hugo added to the Neptune's production. And so this one feels, in a way, a bit more serious, and not to say the other things didn't, but it felt more sincere in a different kind of way. And so 2, 3, and 4 are the same album, and I don't think this should be the case, but that's what happens with the metadata. 1 second applause. #5, Cardi B. I told you I was listening to Cardi B. There's a lot of people who were very upset at my breakdown of Cardi B's album and how it reminded me of Bone Thugs and Harmony's album. I think there's ways I could have phrased it better. I think when I look back at that piece, I'm like, I think it was more dour at the conclusion than I intended to be. You know what I mean? I think I had my critic hat on more than I had my fan hat on, right? And I'm a fan of Bone Thugs and Harmony, and I was still able to enjoy The Art of War quite a bit, even though from a critical standpoint, I have a lot of notes about Bone Thugs and Harmony's The Art of War. And I think that's the same for Cardi B. Like, I still listen to this album. I listen to Every Time every day. The only question is, do I listen to all 3 Every Times every day in a row, or do I listen to all 3 separately? That's really the only difference. I still listen to Salute every day. You know what I mean? I listen to Check Please a lot. I listen to the What's Going On song a lot. I don't necessarily listen to some of those every day, but Cardi B gets a spin every day. You know what I mean? And I don't think I necessarily captured that at the end of that breakdown. at the end of that breakdown. I think I made it seem a little more dour than I intended to. And I think that's represented in my top artists of 2025, right? Because Cardi's listed at number 5, but she's really number 3. And I think that really is another example to me about how personally I feel as though Cardi B's Am I the Drama, her sophomore album, her return, was really, really successful. And I think you can still see that in the charts. It's still the number 1 rap album on the Billboard 200 right now. It's fallen maybe to number 21, but that's more so because there's Christmas albums that have crept up there and there's a couple K-pop albums that have crept up there. I don't know if there's anything we can say about Cardi B with the year she's had in 2025, especially being pregnant and not being able to push the project as consistently as I know she would have if she, wasn't giving birth, So I can't wait to see her tour this year. And I can't wait to see that airtime video. And I just wonder if it's going to have Jeezy and Lotto in it, Jeezy or Lotto in it, or if we're going to get 3, because I wouldn't mind getting one with just Cardi, because that song is crazy. Bottles after bottles after bottles in this month. Scuttle, 1 second plus. Number 6, my man Leon Thomas said, "Baby, I'm a dog, I'm a mutt." Woo! And he got a double dose because the Mutt album was hitting for me last year, and then the deluxe dropped this year. Which is, to me, the best R&B project I've heard in a very long time. In a very, very long time. Leon Thomas is also up for Artist of the Year. He's also up for Album of the Year. He's up for R&B Album of the Year, and he deserves it all. So big shout out to Leon Thomas, 1 second plus. Number 7, which is really number 5, is Ray Vaughn. Ray Vaughn, TDE's top dog. Now, one thing that I always have to keep in mind when it comes to my replays at the end of the year is that a lot of stuff I listen to for research, and a lot of stuff that I'll listen to for research and fun, and a lot of stuff I'll just listen to for fun. But not everything I listen to for research I really do enjoy. And Ray Vaughn is one of those projects that I really do enjoy, and I was listening to it for research quite a bit. I had a feature interview with Ray Vaughn. Also, Ray Vaughn was all over this Ray Vaughn Daylight versus Joey Badass with every other rapper on the East Coast or West Coast jumping in the middle of it. I still have that spreadsheet that lists every track that came out that was around and affiliated with that battle. But I really do think that Dollar Menu, Ray Vaughn's debut project, is a major success. It's a major success. It's a vulnerable project. He opens up about his relationship with his mother, his family, all the things that he did prior to making his rap dreams come true. And so I'm looking forward to see what Ray Vaughn does in 2026 as well. Big shout out to Ray Vaughn, 1 second plus. Number 8, West Side Gun, and that's off the strength of 12. 12 to me is still a top 5 album of 2025. Like when you look at how the crazy year Clips had, you look at the crazy year Cardi B had, when you look at the impressive work that Chance the Rapper did with Starline, or if you look at Tyler the Creator's Don't Tap the Glass, or if you're looking at Billy Woods, Gollywog, or if you look at whatever project you want to look at, all the McKinley Dixon, like whatever you're listening to, right? West Side Gun 12 for me is still one of the top 5 joints of 2025. It's one of my favorite albums that I've heard. When I say one of the favorite albums I've heard this decade, I'd say it's probably in the top 15 albums I've heard this decade, and between what we've seen from Stove Got Cooks, there's also I think it's Brother Toast. I'm not sure if I pronounced his name right. West Side Gun does an amazing job curating other people's talents and putting them over different soundscapes where you want to hear what they're like going forward. He builds brands. He curates, culture with every one of his releases. And to me, this is one of the best ones, if not the best ones that he's ever done. If you haven't heard 12, punch yourself in the face, because it is that good. It is that good. It's still one of my top 5 albums of 2025, 1 second plus. Number 9, Lil Wayne. Now, when I say I listen to stuff for research, but I don't know if I really like it, that's what this is, right? This number 9 Lil Wayne is because the Carter 6 came out this year. I was looking forward to the Carter 6 this year. I had done a bunch of videos last year just covering the news around it, and I was going to break it down. And so this is there for 2 reasons. This is there because, 1, the Carter 6 was coming, I had to listen to it. But getting ready for the Carter 6, I started listening to all the Carter series, the whole Carter series. So I was very familiar, very refreshed on the Carter series when the Carter 6 comes out. And then that is one of the most
Tomato.
albums I've ever heard.
Tomato.
I can't remember this point. I can't remember the last time I was like disappointed, but also kind of hurt. Because Lil Wayne made me feel like he really cared, right? All of the conversation that happened at the end of 2024 when he didn't get the Super Bowl, thank God he didn't get the Super Bowl. All those conversations about how he felt like he was done dirty and it was supposed to be him and all this stuff, right? All the Billboard feature talking about, you know, all the effort and work he was putting into it, working with Wyclef and Boricelli and opera singers and whatever, right? I was going into this thinking that I haven't seen Lil Wayne really push a project like this. I feel like Lil Wayne's got something to prove because he missed out on something that he felt he deserved that was happening in his hometown to the point where he couldn't even salute his little homie at the same time. I thought this might be a great Lil Wayne experience. And it was 180 degrees from what I hoped and expected. And so that breakdown I did on that album, I think it holds up pretty well. The Carter 6 is craptastic. I think that's the best way to describe it. But don't get confused here, right? Because again, when you look at my year-end stuff, you have to consider the fact that this is also my profession. So I'm not necessarily listening to things necessarily because I like them. Okay. And the Carter 6 is an example of that. Lil Wayne is number 9, but he is the
Tomato
on the list. Pharrell, this is here just because of clips again. Tyler the Creator, this is here because of all the minutes I logged listening to this in the gym. Don't tap the glass, because listening to this in the gym when I hurt my shoulder on leg day. We talk about that every week on the chart report. I hurt my shoulder on leg day to Don't Tap the Glass. I like this project. This project to me is only half of the reason why it's on here, of course. Obviously, you still have Chromacopia, which I listened to quite a bit in 2025 as well. I like Chromacopia more than I like Don't Tap the Glass. Two different experiences, and I think it's really dope that both of them are nominated for Grammys. Don't Tap the Glass is nominated for Album of the Year. It's also nominated for Best Rap Album. And then, Chromacopia is nominated for Album of the Year and Best Rap Album. And Don't Tap the Glass is nominated for Best Alternative Album, which is another example of just the range that Tyler Creator possesses as an artist. But that's another great project, or another great year with 2 projects for Tyler Creator. 1 second, applause. Number 12, Chance the Rapper. Starline got so much burn. Starline got so much burn for me. And so earlier this year, if there's a tweet I could take back, it's probably a tweet I had about Starline on my first listen. And so generally speaking, when I'm doing my first listen on anything, I'm either listening while I'm playing chess, I'm listening while I'm researching something, I'm listening while I'm sending emails. Generally, that's my first listen. And if anything throws me out of whatever it is I'm doing on that first listen, a lot of times I overreact. And I did that with Chance the Rapper, because I put this tweet out there. I got all the way to the song that sounds like it should be in the movie Avatar. I can't remember the name of the song, but it's like number 12, number 13. I can't remember, but it sounds like it should be in a Disney movie. It sounds like it should be in a James Cameron production. And I'm not used to that from Chance like that. You know what I mean? I listened to that and I put out this tweet. I'm like, oh my God, this project's overambitious. There's some good stuff in here, but whatever. And I was very flippant. It was very flippant of me. You know what I mean? It wasn't as thoughtful as I probably should have been with the project that Chance the Rapper actually put out. And so I kept listening to Starline, and it became one of my most listened to projects this year. And it's just a great example of being true to what it almost states that it is from the first time you listen to it. It's a love letter to Chicago. You know, the tracks with Do or Die are crazy. There's songs in there that sound like they are from the Kanye West era of Chance the Rapper. There's stuff in there that harkens back to Common. There's stuff that sounds like you're sitting in traffic in Chicago and there's a siren going by, but like more elegant and awesome. You know what I mean? There's deep songs in there that talk about where water, but we need more water. You know, there's songs that actually tackle things that people are going through today. Like, who else got a song, you know, with as much light from an artist with as much light as Chance the Rapper? Got a song called The Negro Problem. You know what I mean? There's songs about fighting your own vices. I mean, I talk quite a bit about how artists who find ways to talk about things that connect to real people will have outside success in this marketplace and in this era. And Chance the Rapper did that. I was very disappointed that he wasn't nominated for Best Rap Album, though I understand why, right? The project came out a week or two before the cutoff deadline, which means he didn't have that much time for voters to sit with the project. And at the same time, too, he put this out independently as well. So he didn't have the same machinations behind the scenes riding for him. And so, I wish either he had released it earlier in the year, which has probably been a bad idea because it was still all Kendrick and clips basically at that point in time. But I do think he probably should have waited and dropped this later in the year. And I think he would have benefited from that. And I think that probably would have set off a pretty exciting race for 2026 because Wale did that. And I think Wale is reaping the benefits from that. His project is moving quite a bit and they're going to spend all year working it. I think we saw that with Tyler, the Creator. Tyler came out late last year and they spent all year working that as well. And so I'm not sure if Chance really positioned himself the way perhaps I would have. I don't like to say what I would do with these artists. I mean, he sold records. I never sold a record, right? Even though I have worked at record labels and have pushed other people's records. But I probably would have held this because this is one of those projects I hope people don't forget. Starline is a very, very important listen. And I was wrong with my tweet, and I wish I could take that back. But 458 minutes of Chance the Rapper, with how as crowded this list is already, with how crowded this year is with just really amazing, impactful music. Shout out to Chance, man. 1 second applause. And then 13, 14, 50, Playboy Cardi. This is all Jim. I don't think I ever really listened to this outside the gym after outside the first week it came out. Obviously, this is a big listen. Wale's got this 331 minutes in the past 3 weeks. That's how much Wale I'm listening to. And I love how this little graphic right here is Mirror on the Benz because that's my favorite song on the project. I think this song is going to have a whole lot of success in 2026. At number 15, you got Eminem, which is, why was this the case? I was doing Eminem research because there's another idea I have that Eminem's a part of. So I was doing a lot of Eminem research in the beginning of the year. And so that's where this sat, which, obviously is one of my favorite catalogs of all time. So that's my top artist. I'm not going to go into as much detail with everyone else, but look at these top songs. FICO, Ace Trumpets, All Things Considered, POV, Inglourious Bastards, So Be It, Chains and Whips, Mike Tyson, Blow to the Face, Ibada, So Far Ahead, By the Grace of God, Euphoria. Whacked Out Murals, TV I'll Squabble Up. Now, this is definitely my past 18 months. I can faithfully say that my past 18 months has been dominated by this. It's OD, but I don't care because it's all awesome. 1 second applause. Top albums, Let God Sort Them Out, Am I the Drama, The Bad, the Good, and the Dollar Menu, Mutt Deluxe, big plays this year. 12, this is what I was saying before. Starline's what I'm saying before. I Am Music, Playboy Cardi's what I'm saying a lot. Wale's doing all this in like a month. It's kind of crazy. It's great to see there. Ill, Yuck, Gross.
Tomato.
Magic Alive, McKinley Dixon. Now, this is one of those projects that I haven't made a video on separately. And I was actually kind of new to McKinley Dixon. Like, I've heard McKinley Dixon for a while over the years. And, I'll say this. Like, rap has a lot of different stages, different ciphers, right? You've got what's happening in mainstream, and within the mainstream, you've got what's happening with mainstream trap, what's happening in mainstream gangster rap, what's happening with mainstream backpack, whatever. And then you have sort of the off-kilter, independent, whatever you want to call it. And McKinley Dixon, to me, is one of these artists that if you've never heard of him, it would make sense, but it would surprise you how big he actually is, how strong the fan base he is, and really how broadly enjoyable his music is. Like, it reminds me of De La Soul in a lot of ways. I'm not saying that he raps anything like De La Soul. He doesn't. But when I listen to a De La Soul project, I always feel refreshed by the compositions. I always feel refreshed by the production choices, by the samples. And this is one of those joints. Like, if there's an album that you want to listen to that's just going to make you feel good, right? If you want an album you want to listen to that sort of takes your mind and maybe your spirit to a different place than what you find when you put on Rap Caviar or you put on whatever mainstream list or wherever you hear where the trending topics are coming from. right? This is a great, great project. And I had a really fantastic time experience with it for, this came out March, April, somewhere in last spring. You know, this found its way back into rotation a few times this year, surprisingly to me. And I look at this McKinley Dixon project, I look at Billy Woods' Gollywog as two, what's the word for it? There's like two projects that I don't even want to say overachieved. I mean, they're just fantastic joints that just don't get talked about enough. And I think that there is a connection between the fact that McKinley Dixon here is number 10 and then Cabin in the Sky is number 11. I mean, this 235 minutes is in the past 2 weeks too, right? When I listen to these, and maybe the artwork is even, it's kind of interesting how the artworks are very similar, but I get that kind of just that enriching energy, right? When I listen to them, I feel them, my soul, my spirit moves in a different kind of way. And so I definitely recommend Magic Alive, McKinley Dixon, to anyone who hasn't heard of him. If you're not familiar with his music, there's a great NPR Tiny Desk that he's done. I have nothing but praise for this project, and the same thing with De La Soul's Cabin in the Sky. 1 second applause for both of them. See, this is the Carter 3. This is the Carter 3 from that Lil Wayne research I was doing. And this album is actually, I always enjoy the Carter 2 versus Carter 3 debates. I'll say that. But I do like how conceptual this project is. You know, like you've got, even though some of them don't really make sense, like Wheezy's a Martian from Planet Wheezy. It's a little bit, it sounds like a little circular. Maybe, you know, the cognitive dissonance is there or whatever. I think I've dropped too much critique on Lil Wayne. But that's what this is. That's what the Carter 3 is doing here. It's part of the Carter research that I was doing. Jid, God Don't Like Ugly, GNX, and then Mutt again, but this is the original version. So these are my top albums of the year. Top genres, are we surprised? Hip hop, R&B, soul, rap, hardcore rap, and dirty south. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it looks pretty balanced to me. 1 second applause. Top music by month. January, Kendrick. February, West Side Gun. March, Kendrick. Let's see. April, Wayne. May, Ray Vaughn. June, Leon Thomas. July, Pusha T. August, Jid. September and October, Cardi B. And Wale, November. Cardi B's the only one that had 2 months. You know what I mean? That's how much I like that Cardi B album. Top songs by month. TV Off. I don't know what this number, the no number here for February. I'm not sure if this is a tie. I definitely listen to music in February, so I'm not sure what that is. Good Credit. I Am Music. Let the Beat Build. Dollar Menu, Farfetch, FICO, Community. I can't see what that is right there, but it's probably Airtime. This is Massa because I was doing research for a Tyler the Creator piece, and I'm not sure what this is right here, but I'm pretty sure it's Mirror on the Benz. And top albums by month. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers got a lot of play again because after I finished Shakespearean Shakedown last year, the think piece I did that was around Kendrick versus Drake. One of my favorite things I've ever done, by the way. 1 second applause. You know, I started sinking back into a lot of themes that were coming out of the overall project and Mr. Morale. You know, it felt like a cleanse after what turned into a pretty ugly battle. February, Ill Yuck Drake. March, Music, the Carter 3 April, Ray Vaughn in May, Leon Thomas June, Clips July, Jid August, Cardi B, Starline, and Wale. And so those are the top everything by months. These are my playlists. I'm not really a playlist guy, but I do listen to Shakespearean Shakedown. This is a playlist I made that has the entire battle in order, including Buried Alive Freestyle, including BBL Drizzy, the original, and BBL Drizzy, the Metro Boomin version. So it's got everything in order. So I listen to that a lot. Cardi B Airtime. I had to make another playlist because during the first 2 weeks of Cardi B's album coming out, she kept dropping these other songs. And this is where the Airtime remix with Lotto was because it wasn't showing up on the actual album. So I listened to that instead of listening to the album a lot of times. This is, I think I listened to Chance the Rapper's live show here. 90s R&B Essentials, I always put that on. And then 2025 is just all the projects that came out this year. Milestones, 25,000 minutes listened to music, 250 artists, over 1,000 songs played this year. And if you compare it to last year, top artist comparison, 2,100 minutes of Kendrick Lamar, And Kendrick Lamar 2100 minutes. I'm not. Oh, this is just year over year. My bad. So Kendrick was my #1 artist both years, but last year had 4,500 minutes of Kendrick Lamar. Top song, FICO 67 plays, Euphoria 129 plays. Top album 1900 and 1500. This GNX 1500 is literally a month. So that's my replay there. I hope that wasn't too boring for you guys. If you guys were just curious to see what I'm actually listening to on my own when I'm rocking different artists or whatever it is. So so there it is. Yeah. And so that is how I've decided to spend today's chart report. I've got a couple other stories coming up here, so I'm not going to go away. But so this is sort of a remix chart report and it's starting to look at and another way to look at just the year that was. I think that 2025 was a fantastic year in music. And I'm also really, really excited about this shift that everyone keeps talking about, because I agree it's happening too. And I'm not someone, excuse me, who is moved by the fact that hip hop's not on the charts. I think that's actually a good thing. You know what I mean? I think that just because something is really popular doesn't mean that something is really great. And a lot of times you got to go back inside. You got to get closer to where you came from. You got to get closer to who you are in order to reinvent yourself. And there's no genre of music that reinvents itself better than hip hop does. And so I'm excited to see what that looks like in 2026. Let me know if you guys have any questions about anything or what you guys think about what we talked about here with this week's revamped holiday season chart report. My name is Justin Hunt. Like and subscribe to the channel. Follow @TheCompanyMan on everything. It's all happening. Word up. All right, y'all, man. I appreciate that. That was good. Let's see. We got a super chat. I missed a lot of this live. Will you add to members so I may rewatch? Yes. I mean, it'll be available on the channel, so you'll be able to take a look at it. And then even if you miss some of the live, I think you can still scroll back to the beginning and just start watching it from the beginning at this point in time. You know, there's still going to be more to come, so it'll be fun. So, but I appreciate that. Yeah. All right. So that was the year that was. That was 2025. I'm already in 2026 mindset. All right. What do we have next? All right. So another thing that I'm doing here with the Company Man show is also, like I said the other day, I feel like there needs to be more music, right? I feel like there needs to be more music on this show. And so in honor of Ras Kass joining us tomorrow for Culture United, he has a project that I just think is really, really dope. And the project is called Lepers Eat Face. Now, Ras Kass and I just did a feature interview that's available on this channel. We sat down for 90 minutes and really talked about the state of the world. And it was really appropriate for this conversation because between Ras Kass's EP he put out this year called FAFO, F Around, Find Out, and Lepers Eat Face, he is tackling a lot of big, uncomfortable conversations that are happening all around us. And so his next project, Lepers Eat Face, comes out in 2025. So we got some exclusives he said I could share with you guys from this project. So as the show goes forward, one of the things I will do again is going to be, I want to highlight new music from new artists or new music from artists in general. And so if you guys have people that you support or people that you know who are trying to build their names and reputations, tell them to feel free to DM me or to email me their tracks and I can take a listen to them. One of the things we did yesterday, one of the artists we showed yesterday was from a group called Spooks Who Sat by the Speaker, and they're out of Virginia. And so they actually got a really great reaction yesterday. And so in between stories, I'm gonna play a song from different artists or different projects that are on the way. And so today we get to hear a joint from Ras Kass's unreleased album, Lepers Eat Face, which is coming out in 2025. And we're gonna start with this joint here, which I love. It's called Where the Fooshnickens At, right? And so one of the things I love about this song is that it's talking about the state of media, And tomorrow's Culture United, we're going to have Jeremy Hecht on as well. And so I'm going to ask him about this song. But you see that the bigger picture has decided to revamp. You know, Hip Hop DX, my favorite blog of all time, they basically post two, three times a week, maybe, you know. Double XL basically shut down the website. They're doing everything through social. And so the whole landscape, the media landscape, is evolving right in front of us. And this song does a great job in talking about it. So let's check this out. I gotta get better at this part right here. My banners. All right. So this song is called Where the Fushnikins At. Let's take a listen. Let me know if you can hear this too, by the way.
Where the Fushnikins at, man? Chip food, nigga. Boss move, cause we ain't got nothing to prove.
Features Chip Fu, by the way.
All right, come on. Shit's whack. And where the Fushnikins at?
Yo, Ras Kass, thanks for the big up. If you ever need me, bedroom, call me, I'ma pick up. I'm here.
I ain't run this race to take second place. Strive to be the best and still respect the greats. But ain't no one iller than me. Who you consider to be could get it too. And I ain't gotta name names, just take a selfie. Yeah, nigga, you. Money call it, collect, send it through. I'm driven like 10 and 2. East Coast, West Coast, old school, new school, black niggas, white boys. Ain't even in the conversation if you don't write, boy. Seems like overnight, boy, we was mixing Kool-Aid at night train. Back in the days, niggas call me raising in the ninth grade. They wasn't playing black music on MTV except Michael Jackson and Prince. That ain't street, no offense.
This is a history lesson right here. Watch where he takes this.
Then a box open doors and hardcore got exposure. And regional rappers got the chance to be heard all over.
Shout out to the box. The amount of money I spent on trying to hear Bone Thugs and Harmonies. Thuggish Ruggish Bone. It's probably like $6.
Black entertainment television took hip-hop over the top. Underground artists going mainstream. Even pop, thanks to Washington, D.C. Then it stopped. 2000 November 3 when Bob Johnson sold BET.
Big day when Bob Johnson sold BET to Universal.
Tomato.
Viacom watered it down, gentrified the town. Took the messages out and simplified the sound. No more Tavis.
That's so crazy. Took the messages out and simplified the sound.
Bob Johnson sold BET. Viacom watered it down, gentrified the town. Took the messages out and simplified the sound. No more Tavis Smiley. They canceled Teen Summit. Then phased out the bars and dumbed it down to the dumbest. Shit's whack. Where the Fushnikins at?
It's just me. I'm the last of a dying breed. And until my last breath, this keep your eye on me. For real.
Somebody call Shaq.
Just now make you the greatest one. You know the go.
Somebody called Shaq.
I'm setting levels like I did before. I ain't where none of y'all niggas at. I'm on a different floor.
Meanwhile, the streets warring. The pre-post-mortem, he bought retro Jordans, other nigga couldn't afford them. And Jordan ain't giving a fuck, so I started rocking the foreigns. Balenciaga's a band, so at least I'm fashion influence. At peace, stopping in Torrance, a beast, locking them horns. A beat, and I can perform in a digi-dive bar, or selling out at the forum. I speak with my cranium, hard-headed, dip my dick in vibranium. Wakanda forever. Y'all been hating for 20 years now, nigga. Just give me my cheddar. Cause I've been getting and giving niggas black eyes after I got signed. Before Tim Reeves sold me that guy. That's why. Plus a father just style. But your brand more popular. I get it. Right now you more famous and richer. I dig it. But money don't make the man. And I ain't one of these bitches. My name Ras Kass. I manhandle these hoes. You in real life imitating scripted reality shows. Not here to amuse you. I'm here to confuse you. Never know. I might just be
MF Doom 2. Word up. Shout out to Ras Kass. 9-second applause.
Tomato.
Wrong button. So, yo, that project is coming in 2026. I think I said 2025 earlier. It's 2026. We're going to get to the next story. Now, this isn't necessarily a story, but sometimes I run across these clips that I find hilarious. Sometimes I just find little short clips that I think are really funny. And I would never make a whole video about them on my own. So we're going to have a section of the show where I just talk about little funny clips that I think are hilarious. And this one is great. It's called Europe is Not a Continent. Now, this is something I've been thinking about for a very long time. I've been thinking about this for a while, right? I've been thinking about how all my life they have been telling me that Europe is a continent. And in one class, they'll tell me Europe is a continent. And then in another class, they'll sort of renege on that, right? They'll say that, to be a continent, you have to be on a separate geological plate, okay? That's not really the case with Europe. And this comedian hit me so hard in the chest. I was like, oh, good, I'm not the only one. So let's take a listen.
Europe is not even a continent. It's not. They have just been saying they're a continent for so fucking long that we have started believing that they're a continent. They're not a continent. Europe has defined what is a continent. A continent is a large island surrounded by water. I'll give you some examples, okay? North America, nice. Large island surrounded by water. No problem. You are continent, brother. I approve. South America, large island surrounded by water. I approve. Africa, large island surrounded by water. I approve. Australia, large island surrounded by water. Antarctica, large island surrounded by water. One penguin is there. There is only one more continent. It's this. This is not a separate continent. I am a person, this is my hand. It is part of me only. This can't have a different passport. Europe is Asia. Europeans are Asians. This is not Eastern Europe, this is Central Asia. Europe is not...
Oh gosh, yo. This guy had me dying today. When I saw this. Europeans are Asians. 1 second applause. But it's so true, right? And so I was curious, right? Because one of the things he says in this clip is he says, Europeans tell us that to be a continent, you have to be a large island surrounded by water. And so I was like, okay, cool. Well, let's see what ChatGPT says. Let's see what ChatGPT says about whether Europe is a continent. And so it says the short answer is yes, Europe is considered a continent, but it's a special case, and not everyone agrees on why. Here's the clear breakdown. Europe is classified as a continent in the modern geopolitical and educational system used by the US and Europe, most international organizations. So US and Europe decided that Europe was a continent. Europe is one of the 7 continents: Africa, Antarctica, Asia, Europe, North America, South America, Australia. But here's the important truth. Europe is not a continent by geology. Geologically speaking, Europe and Asia sit in the same tectonic plane. So geologically, Europe and Asia are one landmass, which equals Eurasia. There is no ocean or major natural separation between Europe and Asia, only cultural boundaries like the Ural Mountains, the Caucasus, the Bosporus Strait. These are not strong enough to make a true geological continent. So why is Europe considered a continent? Because of history. Ancient Greek geographers divided the world into 3 regions: Europe, Asia, and Libya, which is Africa. The classification stuck for thousands of years through symbolism, culture, religion, and early map making. Over time, Europe became defined as a separate civilizational unit, not a geological one. Essentially, Europe is a cultural, political continent, not a geological one. So the answer, should anyone ask you if Europe is a continent, I guess it's both, because the Greeks. 1 second applause. I thought that was funny. I thought this was actually pretty interesting too. So this is a video of the early 1990s when Super Nintendo came out.
For those of you who follow.
When Super Nintendo came out, okay. This is actually pretty funny, right? I don't remember this personally, but apparently people were confused about why they had to play Super Mario World on a new system.
Of the Super Mario series. You'll be glad to know Super Mario 4, called Super Mario World, is now on the shelves. But as Deborah Snell found out, you might not like what you hear when you go to buy the game.
That's the catch that may take many Nintendo maniacs by surprise. You have to buy a completely new hardware system to play the new Super Mario 4 game.
Now, I saw this, right? And I was like, well, I think all of us knew it. You know, all of us who were wanting to get a Super Nintendo, I think we're pretty clear on it. But for parents, that had to be kind of trippy. had to be kind of trippy for parents who weren't used to what was going to also define the rest of our lives. Listen to this.
Why can't you just buy the cassette?
Because it doesn't play in the regular one. You have to buy the super unit.
Who's doing that?
It doesn't play in the regular one. You have to buy the super unit. Who's doing that? Everybody was. One second, applause.
Well, 12-year-old Vahid Hosapian is for one.
I saved up with my allowance.
You saved up $200 by yourself.
Yeah, and I had to do extra work around the house.
Extra
Shout out to that kid. 1 second applause for doing chores.
chores because of the extra cost of the new
I
system.
was going to get it, but I don't want to spend that much money.
He has a Game Boy, and now he has the Nintendo, and now he'd have to have another unit just for that one game. It doesn't seem right.
For those of you
Doesn't seem right. Look at this blast from the past, right? I mean, this is even just like what video looked like back in the day. VHS sensibilities is right, the biggest one. This is very true. VHS sensibilities. Such a blast from the past right here, right? Now, shout out to Boxing, my favorite forum. I'm on here every single day, right? There is a funny anecdote that is taking place in the comments section about this time period. It says, FBG says, growing up, I knew kids who I guess were so poor, they had the game and not the system, right? And then here's this anecdote. Look at this. Happened to me a lot with cats and the PS2. Bro had his birthday party at school. Bro kid of shit in hindsight. And his dad did this elaborate ruse where he got this huge box of peanut brittle. And at the very bottom was Madden 2K. When he got to the bottom, he pulled it out and was like, I got a PS2. And the whole cafeteria was like, yo, you got a PS2? Wow, that's crazy. And his dad was like, and leaned over and to his son and whispered to him something in his ear. And his son was like, blank face. After he said whatever in his ear, he ain't get that PS2, bro. Damn.
Tomato.
That's crazy. I couldn't even imagine how like heartbreaking that had to be. I can't imagine how heartbreaking that had to be sitting around thinking you got the illest, but you just got the game. Wow.
Tomato.
There was a kid I went to college with. His name was Bjorn Hare, right? And Bjorn was probably the most awkward person maybe I've ever met in my life. And the first day of school, like Bjorn, I guess he went to private school, maybe he went to homeschool to some degree. And he just had a hard time making friends. He had like a full pajama set like the first night of college when everybody's meeting each other. He was brushing his teeth. It was really, really crazy. And so Bjorn didn't have a whole lot of friends. So me and my roommate Sean became friends with Bjorn. And Bjorn would do like really weird stuff. Like he didn't have a car, so he walked like 10 miles to the mall. His parents gave him $500. He walked 10 miles to the mall, bought a Randy Moss jersey, $300 worth of football cards, a bunch of cleaning products, and probably a year's supply of condoms he would never end up using, right? But he also ended up buying, oh my God, what was the football game? It was NFL Blitz for the Dreamcast, and he didn't have the system. He bought the game for our system. This stuff is out there, man. These are old school stories. 1 second applause to Bjorn here. And one more in this Today and Funny. This is also a blast from the past. I wouldn't necessarily say this is as funny, but this is a cool video I saw here in Boxed In too. Everybody should check out this site if you're ever looking for like just cool things that people are talking about that are away from the radar. And so this is a young Ludacris rapping in 1993. Let's check out what young Chris Level was doing.
You might have heard me before, so won't you hear me again? The name is Kringle and I'm single, but I'm looking for friends. So all the ladies in the house say ho. Yo, cause I'm the man with the plan, and yes, the tic-tac-pro. So hold on, because I think that is my beat. Taking the phone off of the hook, cause I'm a late night sleeper. And yes, I heard you had the fever for the flavor of a Pringle. But if you want the flavor, don't forget about the Kringle, cause it's me. The CRISCRINGLE. People hear me rap and sing, they say I gotta see. I'm jamming the freshest hip-hop group, but I'll be leaving. People say I don't know what he said, but it was smooth. Coming at you, giving your rhymes like my mouth is shaking. Guaranteed to make you move, you know I'm not mistaken. Fresh and hot, these lyrics dope, like my mother's baking. And don't get excited when I tell you how much I'm making. Like nice and smooth, I rhyme slow or quick. Lead depends on how I
look at him, man. Later on, he would be in all the Fast and Furious, just about.
Sometimes it really does not faze me. My name is not the DADDYMAC, but all the girlies say I really can when I wanna be. You know it's not a sin because I'll do it again. And when you get somebody 9 and 1 and that's 10. So yo, turn your pants around and lighten up, kid. Warm it up, Chris. Yeah, I already did.
Warm it up, Chris. Yeah, I already did. Look how times were so much simpler. Times were so much simpler back then. Before Ludacris became Chris Level, before he got on radio in Chicago, before he became Ludacris, he rapped like nice and smooth and crisscross. I like that. 1 second applause. Maybe that's 5 second applause. All right, so that is the interlude of the show here. Let me know what you guys think about segments like this. I've run across all kinds of just weird things that I see online that don't make sense from a full video standpoint, but I do think have value to share with people. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comments section. On to the next story. So these last two stories are basically follow-ups from yesterday's episode. So I'm not going to go into as many details about these, but I do feel like they're relevant to continue the story going on, right? And so yesterday we had a story about the University of Oklahoma. And so there was a student in the University of Oklahoma in the psychology department who was asked to write a psychology essay. And it was awful. It was one of it's gone viral now. It's super viral now. And so the essay was so bad, it didn't respond to the prompt at all. It didn't cite anything. It didn't do anything the professor or the teacher assistant asked their students to do. And so the student went and told Turning Point USA that she was discriminated because of her religion. And so the University of Oklahoma got involved. This is the Bible girl. Yes, the University of Oklahoma got involved, and they suspended the teacher. And they made sure the grade would not count against the student. And it's really a sad experience. I don't want to say sad experience, but sad reflection of the state of American education system. It really is under attack in a lot of different ways. 2 weeks ago, we had Joel Santana tell us people don't need to read. And basically, we have the University of Oklahoma saying, yeah, you don't really need to write or listen to your teachers either if it's against your religion.
Tomato.
So last night, after I got off live, the Bible girl actually spoke. The Bible girl had something to say. So we're going to take a look at, I'm going to play quickly what her reaction was, and so we can just round out this story here. And so let's see. All right. Can you guys see that? Yeah, you can. All right. So here is, for people who might not be familiar again, Oklahoma University student who claimed religious discrimination over essay grades speaks out. The school decided that the grade, which was worth 25 points, would not count against her. But that doesn't mean the conversation is just over yet. So let's see what she has to say. I think there might be a commercial here. Let's see.
Bad Day Towing can handle whatever is needed.
Let's see what this sounds like. Bad Days Towing. Okay. You guys need some towing, call Bad Days Towing. Can't imagine it being a good day when you're towing.
Brought up to the university what happened. They decided that that grade would not count against her, but it doesn't mean the conversation is over just yet.
I just did the assignment and turned it in, and I talked about the Bible in it. That is, I view all of my opinions in the world through the Bible.
Samantha Fulnecki.
She views all of her opinions of the world through the Bible. And the thing that's jumped out to me, well, let's finish this and I'll come back to it.
As a junior at OU, she says when she submitted an essay reacting to an article for her psychology class, she got a 0. The graduate instructor, who is transgender, was the one grading it. They called it offensive and said it lacked empirical evidence.
I gave my opinion, and not just my opinion, but that's like the Bible says that God created male and female. And
she gave her opinion, and that's where a lot of this, the conflict, the friction that's at the center of this conversation is living. She said she gave her opinion, and then she realized, wait a minute, I probably shouldn't frame it that way. Well, not just my opinion, the Bible says this. The problem is that with the essay, which we reviewed yesterday, which I'm not going to review again today, but the problem is that she didn't actually cite the Bible. She didn't say Genesis chapter 22, verses 5-7. She just said, the Bible says that women are women because they do womanly things. Like, that's literally what she said. It was it's paraphrase, but you guys get the point. That's where the conflict happened. And in this conversation right here, it's crazy because you kind of hear her slip up a little bit.
was the one grading it. They called it offensive and said it lacked empirical evidence.
So I gave my opinion, and not just my opinion, but that's like the Bible says that God created male and female, and anything that's not from God or glorifying to God is glorifying to the enemy.
Here are excerpts of the essay. She says, society pushing the lie of multiple genders is demonic and believes it's against God's will.
That's what I meant by that. The demonic thing is that I didn't mean for that to be offensive, but the truth will naturally offend people. And so I think that's why people are kind of viewing that as offensive.
So would you have a problem having a transgender teacher?
I wouldn't, not if they're able to separate their kind of beliefs and things from grading, then...
You know, there's a lot of questions about whether or not she really wrote that essay yesterday because it was written, or at least presented, at such a low level, at such a low comprehension level. She's reportedly a junior in college, and it definitely read like 8th grade, 9th grade, 7th grade, somewhere in there. Definitely a middle school approach when you take a look at the text. And we read it yesterday. But now that I'm watching her speak, you know, I'm starting to think she actually did write it. Listen to this again.
Not if they're able to separate their kind of beliefs and things from grading, then I don't, really care who my professors are.
She was supposed to be graded on whether there was an understanding of the article, whether it was a clear reaction, and whether the main ideas were organized in a coherent discussion. She got a 0 out of 25 points and filed a complaint against OU, claiming her religious freedom was violated. That instructor's been put on administrative leave. Volnecki says she isn't sure whether she'll be seeking any legal action from this, but we asked an attorney what they thought if things do go in that direction.
In the end, I really do not see this lawsuit going anywhere, as there is no constitutional guarantee to an A in a class at a public university.
I don't see this going anywhere because in the end, there is no constitutional requirement to get an A at a public university. And that's what really jumps out to me when I look at this case more than anything else, right? Because she basically said she was discriminated against because of her religious beliefs, despite the fact that based on the prompt that was given for the students and based on the fact that she didn't do what was required as a student, she is now able to save her grade because she's a Christian, or she's being able to save her grade because Turning Point USA brought the University of Oklahoma into this, right? And so what that tells me is that regardless of what the professor says, regardless of what the teacher says, if you feel like this goes against the Bible, you can pass the grade anyway. She's in that clip talking about how, well, as long as, someone doesn't take their personal beliefs about trans things and use it against students, then I guess it'd be okay. But what she has now done is she has said, forget the assignment, forget what I'm asked to do, forget about my inability to clearly communicate in a psychology paper, which is a science paper, whatever points I'm making. Forget about the fact that I was asked to cite things. I didn't even do that. I didn't even cite the Bible. I didn't even cite the verses. I didn't even put a footnote that said, hey, based on this. Forget the fact that she didn't cite anything other than the Bible. There are plenty of doctors or researchers or whoever who have a similar point of view. You could probably go to PragerU right now and just copy some of the stuff that they say about their point of view on this topic. She could have just put those things in, but she didn't even do that. Didn't even do that. And she's worried about other people's beliefs being used against her. Well, she has now weaponized Christians and Confederates all over the country against a student, a teacher's aide, got her on leave from the University of Oklahoma, put her on leave because this girl, this junior, wrote an 8th grade paper without sourcing that didn't follow the directions, and then said that she failed because this person disagreed with her religious beliefs. Right? That's a very scary place to be. That's a very scary place to be. Right. And I think that we're going to see a lot more of this. Now, there's other things out here, like this woman's or this girl's mom. Apparently, she is a right-wing operative from Missouri who has a very, very litigious past, who causes a lot of inflammatory conversations and situations for her political positioning. And so perhaps there's more to this. Perhaps that this girl was weaponized against this trans teacher at the University of Oklahoma. But what we're seeing now is just a complete bastardization of the First Amendment. And we're seeing now essentially DEI for Christians, DEI for Confederates, affirmative action for conservatives. This is why they've been working so hard to change our institutions of higher learning, because they realize when people go to college, it pokes holes in the foundations of their beliefs, which they want to put on everybody else. And this is like a small example of that. This is basically saying, you know what? I don't really feel like working in this class. Let me just not even half-ass. Let me just not show up, throw some stuff out there. And when it fails, say, they did it because I'm a Christian, and see if I can get away with it. In this case, this young woman actually did. There is some, it's actually funny because she's supposed to be a tennis player, but she's the only player listed on the University of Oklahoma tennis website. Only person on there that doesn't have any stats. I wonder if she got on the tennis team, because she said if they didn't put her on, they'd be blocking her because of her religious beliefs. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's a little bit harsh. We'll see where this goes. But I did want to put a button in this story from yesterday. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments section. I'll put a link to this video here in the comment section as well. My name is Justin Hunt. Like, subscribe to the channel. Follow the Company Man on everything, including the Company Man podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. It's all happening. Now, this is definitely a crazy story. This really is a crazy story. We have one more block. We have one more block that we're going to do. But before we get there, I want to play one more song from Ras Kass's joint. Again, Ras Kass will be on Culture United tomorrow, along with FD Signifier, along with Jeremy Hex, Chilling with Moni, and one other person to be named later. But here's another joint that is on Ras Kass's 2026 project, Leopards Eat Face. I'm going to share this tab instead. This one's called The Hit List. Let's take a listen. I love the vibe. I love the vibe.
Didn't they tell you that I was a savage? With my hairline crisp, the fade sick, feel like I'm that nigga. Black afro pick with the fist, might just mix vodka in the brisk. Knock a lot of chicks, so people say the boy got birds like I cop a lot of bricks. Every day it's guap I gotta get. Always try to be a team player, but you blocking my assists. The same ones hating since day one, started hopping on my dick. A live bitch gets sent like an email. Lawyer up, cause the devil's in the detail. Buy it cheap, wholesale, resell it retail. You ain't LGBT, stop acting like a female nigga. I give them bars every day, that's rare, like a Mexican in the NBA. The few, the proud, native of LA. The D stand for Dodgers, the H is the Hermes. Living legend, so fuck the airplay. Swear I can levitate and play in the air. Real players don't tailgate. You a bum and your chick ain't fresh, that's a stalemate. Verse already.
Bum and your chick ain't fresh, that's a stalemate. 1 second applause.
Bananas, but yeah, wait, juvenile cellmate, never the jail rate.
Didn't they tell you that I was a savage?
Turned up, beating on my chest like a male eight.
Here for this rap killer. I enter the stage and pick a cock and gauge, bust some more, so I'm off.
You was just another nigga on the hit list.
Here for this rap killer.
Didn't they tell you that I was a savage?
How many MCs must get this?
Word up, Ras Kass. 9 second applause. Ras Kass again will be on Culture United tomorrow. We got a super chat. Let's take a look at our super chat over here. Let's see what it says. Antonymous says, I was assaulted in my college for my religious beliefs. I could not believe they tried to make me answer what 5 + 1 is. They know it's the devil. Oh, man, I'm so sorry to hear about that. That's crazy. That is crazy. Oh, man. 1 second applause. And also...
Tomato.
So crazy. I mean, we're just definitely on a different side of the bell curve, right? You know, when you think about the bell curve, right, you're on your way up. You're on your way up, and then you get to your peak, your crescendo, and then you're on the other side of the bell curve, the wrong side of the bell curve. We're definitely in late stage capitalism, people. We are definitely on the other side of the bell curve when it comes to all the things that our parents' generation and grandparents' generation fought for. We're on the other side of that stuff. Okay, all that stuff is being used back at us, so people understand where we are and what is happening. Now, for our last segment is another follow-up story, and so this one is a follow-up from the announcement we talked about yesterday. It really is 50 Cent's interview with Good Morning America regarding his documentary on Diddy. Now, the documentary is now currently available. I have not watched this yet. I haven't seen it yet. I started watching a bit of it this morning when I was on set. So maybe I'm 16 minutes in. I think I'm going to take a look at it. But I'm all Diddy'd out. Overall, I'm Diddy'd out. But 50 Cent seems like he has some new things to say. So this is Diddy's response to Fiddy's Diddy doc. Shout out to me. 1 second applause for that lower third. I was proud of that. Actually, you know, my first editorial I ever did for Hip Hop DX was called Fiddy, More Like Diddy. And it was talking about how 50 Cent was going to shift his career to where he didn't have to rap to have a rep. He wasn't going to be based on the success of his albums. He was going to turn more into a mogul like Jay-Z and Diddy. Well, that's what he ultimately ended up doing. And now when I look at what's happening between 50 and Diddy over the years and where we are now, more than anything else, this looks like two rich dudes who have a vendetta against each other. And that's what we're seeing with Diddy, this Diddy documentary. One of the things that I got a lot of response for in the comment section yesterday in the video, the clip I put up on the channel today, was people were saying, yo, we've got like 2 different Epstein documentaries. There are 9 mainstream Diddy documentaries right now. There are 9. I greatly question whether we need these, how much we need these. But at the same time, here we are. And so here is what Diddy had to say about 50 Cent's documentary against him. Let me see, make sure you guys can see that. Okay, let's put this on the screen. All right, so here's from 50's lawyers. It says, today's Good Morning America teaser confirms that Netflix relied on stolen footage that was never authorized for release. As Netflix and CEO Ted Sarandos know, Mr. Combs has been amassing footage since he was 19 to tell his own story in his own way. Excuse me. It is fundamentally unfair and illegal for Netflix to misappropriate that work. Misappropriate that work. Now, one of the things I was talking about yesterday was how it felt like to me, well, I was wondering where did 50 get this footage of Diddy? And one of the things that I hypothesized was that Diddy was probably just putting together a documentary on his own, right? Similar to what we saw with the Kanye Genius. Yeah, the Kanye Genius documentary. Well, it looks like that's what he was doing. So they're saying that, you know, Netflix knew what Diddy was doing and knows where this footage came from. And it seems like they have a problem with it. Let's continue. Netflix is plainly desperate to sensationalize every minute of Mr. Combs' life without regard for truth in order to capitalize on a never-ending media frenzy. If Netflix cared about truth or about Mr. Combs' legal rights, it would not be ripping private footage out of context, including conversations with his lawyers that were never intended for public viewing. It is equally staggering that Netflix handed creative control to Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, a longtime adversary with a personal vendetta who has spent too much time slandering Mr. Combs. Beyond the legal issues, this is a personal breach of trust. Mr. Combs has long respected Ted Sarandos and admired the legacy of Clarence Avant. For Netflix to give his life story to someone who has publicly attacked him for decades feels like an unnecessary and deeply personal affront. At minimum, he expected fairness from people he respected. Okay, and so that is what Diddy's legal team is saying here. Now, Clarence Avant, that's mentioned here, he is a music industry maven. He is a titan in the space. He passed away a few years ago, but Netflix also put that documentary out as well. So they're using that against Netflix in their commentary. We also have this here. So Diddy has threatened legal action against Netflix and 50 Cent over the release of the new documentary, Sean Combs' The Reckoning, accusing them of airing unauthorized and stolen footage, demanding the film be pulled, and that's via Dateline. So that is the updates that we have on what is happening around this documentary. The Reckoning, I guess is what it's called here. Again, I look at this as, personally, I'm Diddy'd out, right? Like I said, I had a friend of mine call me today and they were asking me, well, what do you think that this means? Like, with 50 Cent using this information and bringing up the trauma that's around all of these victims and how does this make us look as part of the Black community? And I was pretty dismissive to what he said. I'm like, I don't think they care about this. I mean, this is a personal vendetta to me, regardless of what 50 Cent told Robin Roberts on Good Morning America, where he sat there and said that, he didn't like Diddy offering to take him shopping. He didn't like Diddy making it seem like he could control 50, right? I think there's way more to this. We watched, or at least we saw reported, 50's baby mom was part of these freak-offs. She was one of the victims in Diddy's RICO case that ended with him receiving 2 counts of prostitution charges. It's just the Jack Johnson law. I think it's the Jack Johnson law. And so to me, there is some personal vendetta that's in this as well. And as sad as this is, and as personally tacky as it is, I think that this is on par. 50 Cent is not someone who lets up on his enemies. 50 Cent is someone who will position himself as being like, oh, okay, I can't be your friend. Well, at least allow me to be your enemy. And they have been in this posture for a very long time. I think that for all of these things, once again, for all these things that have been happening around Diddy over the past few years, I think a lot of the air came out of this conversation when it looks like he's going to get 4 years in prison, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong about that. But when we found out he wasn't a drug kingpin, when we found out that the charges that the state levied against him they didn't have nearly enough information to prove RICO charges. And we found out that he is I don't even want to say when we found out that he is a domestic abuser, he is a manipulator, he is a violent person who, unfortunately, the state couldn't prove past what we had already seen with the traumatic relationship he had with Cassie. Once it turned out that he was a guy who likes freak-offs and into nutty nipples, this whole conversation from a documentary standpoint is, to me, this just feels like there's less interest, generally speaking, than I think that we all expected to have at this point in 2025. Now, it looks like Diddy has, no, excuse me, it looks like 50's got a whole lot of new footage to show. And everybody that I've seen talk about this, everyone that I've seen talk about this is fascinated by the things that they've seen. And again, I watched about 15 minutes of it earlier today when I was on set. And one of the things that they were talking about was apparently Diddy put hands on his mom. And so 50 is calculated, and he is someone who, when he goes in, he goes all in. And so perhaps that this might do a bit more damage to Diddy's reputation. We'll see how this all plays out. I think I will take a look at it, and just so I understand what's happening in the space. But you also have to remember that 50 just launched his production company, his studios in Shreveport, Louisiana. And so he is making a big splash here. So away from what's happening with them, these two on a personal level, this is still a major business opportunity for 50 Cent and his production company. So If you guys have seen this, let me know in the comment section what you guys think about this. Hit me on social media too. I'll take a look at it, and perhaps I'll do another story if there's something I particularly find of some newsworthiness that I can find in here. I'd rather not revel in the salacious, as you guys I'm sure are used to when it comes to this channel. But we shall see. You know, you got to talk about what the people are talking about. But that is all I have on this topic, and as well as all I have on today's episode of The Company Man Show. Episode number 5. Episode number 5. Let me know how we doing over here. Do you guys like this? Are we getting a good rhythm? Are we getting a good rhythm over here? We've got music. We've got funny shorts. We've got music breakdowns. We've got trending topics. And again, so you guys are aware, again, this is part of a broader strategy. And so I've been putting out different video clips, but for the past year or so, away from things that I do from a breakdown standpoint or away from things that I do from an interview standpoint. And the way that I was recording those was I would sit down for an hour a day and see how many stories I could cover. Sometimes it's 1 story, sometimes it's 5 stories. But that was really to get me more comfortable with just talking to myself. And I sit here and just talk through stories myself. But also at the same time, it was to get me used to the pattern of just getting up, turning on the camera, going through the editing process, et cetera. And the goal of that was to get to a point where I can do a daily, radio show, talk show, news show, whatever we're talking about, and hold it down for myself so I can do it live. And now we're at that point. So this is episode 4 of that progress. My plan is to do a live on Mondays, Tuesdays. Every Wednesday is going to be Culture United Wednesday. So my goal is to have a panel every Wednesday, whether that is a 4-person panel, whether that's a 6-person panel, we shall see. But the plan is to have a panel every Wednesday, which we'll see tomorrow. And then we'll run clips from Culture United and from the live show on Thursday and Friday. And those 2 days, I'll be able to focus on writing scripted pieces to drop every Saturday. And so you can expect the first one this week. And so, but this is the whole plan. This is the structure. I'm really thankful to everyone who's been rocking with me on this channel, everyone who's joined this channel in the past year, who is, get used to getting their news from me every day, who's also getting used to, me just having plain conversations with people. I'm also really thankful for everyone who's been rocking with me over the years, who knows my origins as someone who writes think pieces. And I'm excited to get back to doing that more often. And I'm also really excited thankful for everyone who enjoys the panels discussions that we put together. I feel like in this space, I'm kind of at the nexus between a lot of things that have been happening on the industry side in rap media, music media, and hip hop media, but also a lot of things that have happened on the independent side. My career started as an independent blogger who got the editor-in-chief job at Brooklyn Bodega, an independent platform that put out the Brooklyn Hip Hop Festival, which led to me becoming editor-in-chief of Hip Hop DX and getting into the music industry that way, and working with Empire, the record label, and writing for television, and also being at some of the early days of hip hop on YouTube. And so I'm at a point where I have a lot of relationships that are in a lot of different spaces, and there's a lot of people who have met me at different points along this journey. And so I want this to be a hub that offers, the best of those products for everyone who's been supporting me for so long. And I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for rocking with me today. Episode 4? Episode 5? I don't know if we need to be counting anymore. But I will be back tomorrow with a Culture United at 5 p.m. PST, 8 p.m. EST. And so you'll see a flyer tonight with everyone who will be on it. Thank you guys for rocking with me. And it's all happening.
Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening.